September the 3rd, 2021. Guys, you're looking at the 5-day outlook from the National Hurricane Center. Things in the Gulf of Mexico may be about to get interesting once again. The system that's been floating around in the Caribbean has come ashore in the Yucatan Peninsula. Now, it's not very strong at this point, but they've been watching it, and it has a 30% chance of development in about the next 3 days. But looking at the 5-day outlook, they're saying, again, a 30% chance of development. A surface trough over portions of Central America and the southern Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico is producing disorganized shower and thunderstorm activity. This system is expected to move northwestward during the next day or so, bringing locally heavy rain to these areas. The disturbance is expected to move over the southwestern or south-central Gulf of Mexico late this weekend, and then move generally northward over the western or central Gulf of Mexico early next week. When it first comes offshore, guys, they're saying unfavorable upper-level winds are expected to limit development through Monday, but environmental conditions could become marginally favorable for some gradual development by Tuesday or Wednesday. So we're going to have to pay attention. This northward movement is headed up towards Louisiana coast at this point, again, according to the models. Now, here, you've got a 100-mile-per-hour hurricane, and it's expected to continue strengthening up to a Category 4. It's moving west-northwest at 14 knots right now. Pressure's dropped to 978 millibars. And looking at the Gulf satellite, you can see right here in the bottom center of the image is where this center of low pressure is. And you can almost see strengthening because notice the outflow right there. And we're approaching, within 7 days, the peak of this hurricane season, September 10th. So we're going to have to pay attention to everything that's starting to form here and in the Atlantic. But this is what we got, 30% chance by Tuesday. This thing could be starting to strengthen. We're going to be paying attention to it. Now, let's look at the Atlantic. Now, as you see the sun setting over the Atlantic, Larry has become a very powerful storm. 100-mile-per-hour winds now. It's expected to go to 125, 130 before this is all said and done. But again, you can see the center of circulation very clearly right there, what's trying to form an eye. Let's look at the different models and the speeds of this thing. Now, this is what we've got from Sky Tower down in Florida. Cat 2 now at 100 miles per hour. By Saturday at 2 p.m., a Cat 3 at 120. By Sunday at 2 p.m., a Cat 4 at 140 miles per hour. Then slowing down as it gets a little further north. Now, notice this cone is not tracking exactly towards this dot, which is Bermuda. And depending on which side of that island this storm goes on, whether it's east or west, will determine where it comes ashore. Will it be up in Newfoundland in that area, or will it be a little further south? Right now, again, winds this movement is west-northwest at 16 miles an hour, pressure 978. This was at 5 p.m. on this update. Now, this just came in about 15 minutes ago at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Now, the reason I said that about Bermuda, again, this is the dot right there, maybe a little hard to see, is that the Navy model has it coming to the left or to the west of Bermuda, and that's going to bring it a lot closer to the upper northeastern United States. And just quickly on the system that's moving off the Yucatan, we don't really have the Canadian model in here yet. We do not have the Navy model in this group, but you can see it's kind of all over the place, drifting over into Mexico, drifting west and then back east, and then one model moving all the way back towards Tampa, Florida. But we're going to keep an eye on it, and I do want to look at both the Canadian model and the Navy model. Now, the Navy model doesn't go any further than September the 11th, but notice, again, I'm going to hold my cursor here on the island of Bermuda. It goes to the west of it, or to the left of the islands, and this thing extends out in time. We'll pay attention to it. But if that holds true, again, that's going to bring it a couple hundred miles closer to the U.S. northeast coast. Now let's take a look at the Canadian model, and it is a little further to the right or to the east in this storm. And I just want to say, guys, it's a little far out to project very much, but watch as this storm turns back into the North Atlantic, regardless of where it goes. For all our friends in the UK, just pay attention on, because it may merge in with a drop in the Arctic vortex and give you a good bit of wind there before this is over. It's probably some rain. But again, I'm going to hold my cursor dead center on the island of Bermuda. We'll let it play back through again. Notice that it is to the right of the center of the cursor. And that's going to keep it a lot further offshore. Again, a couple hundred miles difference. Now let me say this. It's still skirting the very northeast section of the continent at this point. But when in the Navy model just before this, with it coming just to the other side of Bermuda or to the west side, guys, that's really going to pound Bermuda. If you're there, you know folks there, make sure that they understand that, again, if the Canadian model, it won't be as bad because you're not going to be in the northeast quadrant. But with that Navy model, Bermuda could get hammered big time. But we're watching it. We're going to pay very close attention to the system that's about to emerge off the Yucatan Peninsula by sometimes tonight or in the morning. But guys, we're watching this. I noticed with some of the wildfires over in California, the winds had shifted back offshore, and that was kind of looked like it was giving not only California a break in the smoke, but the rest of the nation too, as it was blowing offshore. It also looked like that it was blowing back over some of the burned areas, and that may really help the firefighters get a grip on it. In other words, attack it from the side that attack it from the east side, because it's blowing west, and it will has already burned part of that area. So they may it may give an advantage to that. But we're going to watch it, guys. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.